Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So the last update about Unfortunate Love was how Lakshmi lost her memory and she forgot Rishi. So Rishi confessed his love to Lakshmi during that period as well. And Malishka cried after Rishi challenged her that why did she not save him during the fire. So let's continue from there. At the hospital, the nurse asked everyone to go out, else the doctor will get angry. Ayush asked Shalu and Bani to come out. The nurse asked Rishi to go, but Rishi insists to stay with Lakshmi. The nurse says only family members are allowed, and you had said that you are not her husband, so you cannot stay with her. Rishi says to the nurse that I am Lakshmi's friend, please let me stay here. The nurse says sorry, you cannot, but Rishi insists and says I will go away in some time. He says you will go to your office and then Lakshmi will be alone. He says Lakshmi's sisters are young, so I should be here, and says I will talk to the doctor. Shalu asks Bani to go home and says she will stay with their sister, but Bani says that she would also stay. Rishi asks everyone to go home and says he will stay here. Karishma says Lakshmi's sister will stay here and she asks Rishi to come home with them. Rishi says I have talked to the nurse already. I will stay with Lakshmi. Malishka says to Rishi that I am not well and you are also hot and you need to rest, so let's go home. Rishi says I will not go and I will stay with Lakshmi because she needs me. Virendra asks Ayush to drop Shalu and Bani at home with his car, and he tells Malishka that they will go home in her car. Virendra asks Rishi not to take tension and says Lakshmi will be fine. Grandma says our blessings are with Lakshmi. Rishi says I will take care of Lakshmi. Grandma asks Rishi to take care of himself too, and Shalu asks Rishi to take care, and she goes with Bani. Neelam comes to Rishi and hugs him and goes. Rishi comes to the ICU. The nurse says that she is going to her office and she asks Rishi to ring the bell if he needs anything. The nurse says I don't give permission to anyone to stay, but seeing your care for Lakshmi and seeing you fighting with the minister's wife for Lakshmi, then that is why I am permitting you to stay with her. Rishi thanked the nurse. The nurse says it is okay and she goes. Neelam says we did not ask Rishi if he had eaten food. Malishka says she will bring food for Rishi after dropping everyone at home. Grandma says you are also tired, so you shouldn't stress. Neelam says she will send food from home, but Karishma says it will take much time. Virendra says I will call Rishi and ask him to order food, but Malishka says that she thought to bring food and feed Rishi because she knows that he will not eat the food without anybody there. Rishi calls Karishma and says don't take tension of my food. He says my mom did not say anything here, so she will be worried for me, and says I will have food in the canteen. Neelam says to Rishi that he will be hungry. Rishi says I will not be hungry, and if I get hungry, then I will get unwell, and I cannot afford to be unwell, because if I get unwell, then who will take care of Lakshmi? Grandma asks Rishi to be fine for Lakshmi, and Rishi says yes, and he asks them not to send food for him, and he ends the call, and Malishka gets angry because she lost a golden chance to get close to Rishi. Grandma says to everyone that this is our Rishi. He will do anything for Lakshmi and he will be worried, but he will not let us get worried. Grandma says we all saw what Lakshmi has done for Rishi too, and they both cannot see each other in any trouble. Virendra says Lakshmi and Rishi are each other's shield, and Neelam, Karishma and Malishka get irritated. Karishma says to Virendra and Grandma that Rishi belongs to Malishka now, and Lakshmi would also marry someone else, so they should stop saying all this, because Lakshmi is nothing to Rishi or their family now. Malishka gets upset and she sits in the car, while Neelam and others goes to sit in the car too. Ayush tells Shalu that Lakshmi had saved Rishi like always, and Rishi is with her, and he will take care of her. Shalu says my sister is fine now, but the same thing would happen again. Bani says Rishi again will start searching for alliance for Lakshmi once she gets better. Shalu says until they are together in real means and until they get remarried, then nothing will be fine. Ayush says to Shalu and Bani that everything will be fine. He asks, should I come inside to drop you both? Shalu says no, and she asks him to drive safely, and he should call them after reaching home, and Ayush leaves after dropping Shalu and Bani. Rishi is sitting holding Lakshmi's hand and says whatever I feel for you, I have confessed it all. He recalls confessing his love for Lakshmi, and he thinks if Lakshmi heard it, then why did she not answer him? Then he thinks that maybe Lakshmi did not get time to answer him, and he thinks that he would wait and says tell me in the morning about your feelings. He says tomorrow will be a new morning for me and for you also. A song plays in the background. Dream sequence begins. In the morning, Lakshmi wakes up and sees Rishi sleeping holding her hand. Lakshmi recalls Rishi's words that he loves her and she get up. Rishi get up too and asks Lakshmi that you got up and says, how are you feeling? He asks if Lakshmi is fine and he gets happy to see her awake. Lakshmi asks Rishi that what happened yesterday. Rishi says yesterday, the fire started at the hotel. Lakshmi says no, I am asking about what you had said yesterday. Rishi says I cannot say it again. Lakshmi asks if it was a feeling for that moment and says did you flow in emotions and maybe you don't mean everything you said. Rishi says to Lakshmi that whatever I said was true. I love you so much. I did not realize this before, but now I know it, and I am sure that I love you. He says I love you very much, and says I love you forever. He asks her to reply him, and says it is his feelings, and he is not forcing her that she should have the same feelings. Rishi says sorry to Lakshmi, but Lakshmi keeps her hand on Rishi's mouth, and a song plays in the background. Lakshmi says, my life is because of you. My existence is because of you. She says, my heart just loves you, and my heart thinks about you. She says, you are my companion, and also my soulmate, and I am very lucky that you also love me, and Rishi looks on in shock. Rishi asks Lakshmi that what do you mean? He asks if Lakshmi also loves him. Lakshmi says, I love you, maybe since the day I saw you, or maybe since I got married to you, or maybe since you turned my tears into happiness. She says it might even be since when you held my hand and fought with the world, but I've always loved you. Lakshmi says to Rishi that I don't know since when I fell in love with you, but I just love you. Rishi gets happy and says yes. He asks if Lakshmi is happy. Lakshmi says I'm very happy, and if I was very fine, then I would have shouted more than you. Rishi says I will still shout on your behalf and says I want to tell everyone in the hospital that I love you, and he gets happy. Lakshmi says to Rishi that I love you and she cries happily. Rishi says I love you now and forever and says thanks for coming into my life, and they have a hug. Unfortunately, Rishi's dream breaks when he gets up and he sees Lakshmi still sleeping, and he realizes that Lakshmi confessing her love to him was just his dream. Rishi thinks that Lakshmi is still sleeping, and that means that I was seeing a dream, but it was so real. He thinks that Lakshmi should wake up and accept his love, and he hopes that Lakshmi would also love him once she wakes up, and he keeps his head on Lakshmi's hand and rests. Malishka comes home angrily, and she thinks that she will get mad. Kiran asks what has happened. Malishka says troubles get into my life daily, and says Rishi and Lakshmi's drama will not end. Kiran asks if Rishi is fine. Malishka says Rishi is very fine, and he stayed in the hospital to stay with Lakshmi all night, and Kiran is shocked. Kiran asks Malishka that why would Rishi stay with Lakshmi when Lakshmi's sisters were there. Malishka says Lakshmi's sisters were insisting to stay, but Rishi also became great soul like Lakshmi, and he insisted to stay, and he told everyone that he would take care of himself in order to take care of Lakshmi. Kiran is scared and says to Malishka that I wonder if you would ever marry Rishi or not. Malishka asks if Kiran is her mom or if she is Rishi's mom. She says today, Rishi was in the fire and I should have saved him. Kiran asks who saved Rishi. Malishka says Lakshmi saved Rishi, and it is good, and even I wanted to save Rishi, but my effort went to waste. Malishka says to Kiran that Rishi got angry with me, and he asks if I love him or not, then why didn't I save him, and why did Lakshmi save him? Kiran says Lakshmi has won Rishi's heart. Malishka says what could I have done? That pillar was heavy and hot, and I couldn't move it. Kiran says what Lakshmi could do, then you can do it too. But Malishka says that she is not a low grade like Lakshmi. Kiran says to Malishka that Lakshmi's low grade has become high by doing this, and your grade has become low. She asks if anyone knows about this. Malishka says no. Rishi only said to everyone that Lakshmi saved his life and my life too. Kiran asks what? She says you are giving me shock again and again, and says Lakshmi saved you also, and Malishka says yes. Malishka says to Kiran that Lakshmi saved me, else I wouldn't have been standing here, and also Rishi wouldn't have been alive. Kiran says then Lakshmi did they. Malishka interrupts and asks her not to praise Lakshmi. Kiran says I will not praise Lakshmi, but I will say one thing, and she asks Malishka to become Lakshmi, else she will get out of Rishi's heart, and Lakshmi will make a place in Rishi's heart, and Malishka looks on. Dream scene started again. Lakshmi regains consciousness in the morning and she removes her oxygen mask. Rishi also wakes up and says, Lakshmi, you got up. Lakshmi asks what happened yesterday. Rishi says fire was at the hotel. Lakshmi asks, what did you say yesterday? And says she wants to hear it again. But Rishi says, I cannot tell you again. Lakshmi asks Rishi if it was just a feeling of that moment. Rishi says, whatever I said was true. It was not a feeling of that moment. He says, I love you, Lakshmi. I just love you forever. He thinks that Lakshmi had accepted my love in the dream before, and he thinks if she would do this in reality, thinking that he is in reality, not knowing that he is dreaming again. Lakshmi says to Rishi that if you say that you love me again, then I will slap you. And she asks him not to think about it also. Rishi gets up and it again is his dream. He thinks that it was a bad dream, and he thinks if he did a mistake by telling Lakshmi how he feels about her, he thinks of how Lakshmi will react if he tells her in reality, and he thinks that Lakshmi can even slap him or beat him, but she should not leave him. Rishi thinks that I am an idiot to say my feelings to Lakshmi, and he worries that Lakshmi might throw him out of her life, and he thinks that what will happen in the morning. Rano asks Shalu and Bani why did they wake up so early. Shalu says Rishi stayed at the hospital in the night, so they are taking food for Rishi and Lakshmi. Shalu and Bani tells Rano that they have made food for Neha and her too. Rano asks them to make her talk to Lakshmi once they get there, and she tells them that she is praying for Lakshmi, and Shalu and Bani leaves. Rano checks the kitchen and thinks that they have messed up the kitchen and they left it dirty and went away. Lakshmi regains consciousness in reality and she recalls the accident. She sees Rishi sleeping, keeping his head on the bed, and she takes off the oxygen mask. She keeps her hand on her head and Rishi is sleeping, holding one of her hand. She silently takes her hand from Rishi's hand. The nurse comes there and says you woke up and says how is your pain? But Lakshmi signals to the nurse not to talk because Rishi is sleeping. The nurse thinks that Rishi and Lakshmi should be husband and wife because they love each other a lot and they think about each other. The nurse asks Lakshmi if she wants to go somewhere, and Lakshmi silently says to the doctor. The nurse asks Lakshmi to come with her and she takes Lakshmi out, and Rishi is still sleeping. Lakshmi comes to the doctor and asks that what has happened to her. The doctor tells her that she was brought in an emergency and says you had much injury on your head and your brain cells were damaged, and that is why you have temporary memory loss and you forgot small things, but thank goodness that you are fine now. Ayush, Shalu and Bani comes to the hospital and they see just Rishi sleeping and they think that Lakshmi might have gone for test. Kiran asks the servant to bring Malishka and her tea. Malishka asks Kiran to do her work and says I will get ready. Kiran asks what is the work. Malishka says it is the work that will make sure that Rishi and my marriage is fixed, and she goes to get ready. Ayush asks Shalu to look at Rishi and says Rishi is sleeping peacefully and that means that Lakshmi is fine. Bani says sometimes Ayush talk like a wise man. Ayush says I always talk wise. Shalu says brother-in-law will wake up and she asks him to stop shouting. Rishi wakes up and asks that where is Lakshmi, and he asks them that when did they come there and says he slept off. Bani says to Rishi that we have brought food for you. Rishi asks where is Lakshmi. Shalu says the doctor might have taken Lakshmi away for test. Rishi says he would go and search for her, but Lakshmi comes there and Rishi asks her. Lakshmi calls Rishi as Rishi and asks if he is fine, and Rishi is happy to see that Lakshmi had regained her memory. Ayush asks Rishi and Lakshmi to continue hugging. Rishi says that he is fine and he asks Lakshmi about her. Lakshmi says she is fine too. Rishi thinks that Lakshmi is not upset with me, and he thinks if Lakshmi will react later to his love confession, and he thinks that his heartbeat is increasing. Kiran thinks that what magical stick does she have? Balvinda calls Malishka. Malishka says City Hospital. Balvinda ends the call. Kiran asks who is it, but Malishka lied and says that it was a wrong number, and she tells Kiran that she doesn't trust Lakshmi and now she doesn't trust Rishi also. Malishka tells Kiran that Rishi is searching for a guy who is not in this world to marry Lakshmi, and even Rishi is not like that. She says very soon, me and Rishi should get married, but I don't even know if this is ever going to happen. Kiran says Neelam said that she will get you both married in a month, and she asks Malishka not to worry. Malishka asks Kiran to go to Neelam and fix the marriage date and says they will get the cards printed and they will make the news go viral. She says then Rishi has to marry me and we will know how much Neelam auntie has control on him. Kiran says you are right. Neelam have to agree to this, and she tells Malishka that she will see Neelam. Shalu and Bani hug Lakshmi. Ayush hugs Lakshmi and asks that how are you? Lakshmi says fine. Rishi asks if Lakshmi is really fine. Lakshmi says yes. and says, I talked to the doctor and I had taken his permission to go home. Rishi says, yesterday you were operated on and today you want to go home. Shalu and Bani try to convince Lakshmi to stay at the hospital, but Lakshmi says that she wants to go home. Rishi says to Lakshmi that your recovery will be fast here, but Lakshmi says that if she goes home, then she will get fine soon. Rishi says, okay, I will take you home, and he asks her to have food first and says Shalu has brought food. Lakshmi asks, did you have food? Rishi says yes, and Ayi says that which house will Lakshmi go to? Shalu says your house, of course, and Rishi looks at Lakshmi while everyone smiles. Some people were not finding it funny in the last video because Lakshmi lost her memory, but you can now see that it was just a temporary memory loss, so she has gotten her memory back. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.